This is Joe Leibner doing assignment 7, my reflection on my assignment 6, cumulative project for the class for MIT 812. We're going to discuss how we, move the screen over just a little bit, discuss how I met the objectives. The main thrust of the assignment was done on Google Sites. I also used Google Draw for things within the site, Powtoon and Adobe Spark. So we'll click on that and I'll walk you through the assignment that I did. So mine is teaching the block start technique for track and field athletes. That's something that I have to do on a regular basis, year in, year out. So I thought this would be a viable way to share that information without having to reteach it over and over multiple times within a year. It still would have that initial period at the beginning of each year, but this would give students a resource to go back and to review some of the things that have been taught to them and make sure that my coaches are also giving the information in a similar and repetitive manner. So this is the Google site that I made. I've got an introduction here about what this is, why it's deserving of its own time in a Google site. I've got a short section on the block setup. This is something that we don't have to spend a tremendous amount of time on. Usually we just instruct it and help the kids work through it a little bit, and then they adjust it quite a bit on their own as they go throughout the season. The starting, this is the process that we're really focusing on. The bulk of the assignment is focused on the mechanics that you're doing physically throughout this process, and so that's where the majority of the content that you'll see created for this class and for this project has been so focused. So this is the very first part. This is a Google drawing that I did. I used a comic orientation or a comic idea, and then I used pop-outs to get the coaching points of this athlete. So we've got the load phase. My hips are up and my lean is forward. His hips could be a little bit higher here. That's not the point of this discussion, but just illustrating the things that the athlete should be focused about and considering in this portion. Here, my body is aligned. He's talking about from head to shoulder to hip, knee to ankle. So we've got a straight line thereabout, and my movement is this direction and not up. So just coaching points that we've put within the concept of thought bubbles. And then here I'm working vertical over the next 7 to 10 steps. That's talking about the uprightness of his running position. So we've got the three components broken down: load, explode, and build, and then what those areas are without being overly wordy. The load is stay balanced, coiled with explosive momentum. The explode is so on and so forth, and then the build is the transition. So that's just a description of what they're seeing over here, and some more repetitive vocabulary so that they can get those things in their mind. This is the Powtoon that I used as one of our assignments. It's brief. I needed to slow it down just a little bit, but this has got everything from alignment to the position at the load portion to the explode, and then out here all the way up to the build-up portion. So that's embedded within the site so that they have a visual or a video going through the entire thing. And then here is a picture that I created with Adobe Spark. It's got that same explode picture, but it's got diagrams on it. It's got some little cuteness about it. The main point, obviously it's called explode, but the main point is keep your body in a straight line and throw the hands. And then this is a visualization of what that straight line is, so that when I go to a kid and I said make sure that we're in straight line position, they understand to what I'm referring. They don't have to wonder what part of their body or what component. They have a very visual representation of what that means. So the next time I use that language, straight line body position, they know exactly what I mean and what that's talking about. The measurement of the progress, this is really easy because in track and field you have numbers. So the measurement for these athletes can be down to the 100th of a second, and all it is making sure that they're filming themselves at their initial outset of this process, and then over time, it doesn't have to be every day, but certainly the more that you do it and the more that you review it, the more data that you will have to drive your self-directed instruction or to drive the coach's instruction moving forward. So that's what we have at this point. I thought that the assignments all built well upon each other. I thought this was something that I could actually use very well. The standard that I used was ISTE 4. D for students, and they have a tolerance of ambiguity, so this is something that's self-directed. Perseverance and the capacity to work on open-ended problems, this is something they have to work on with a lot of moving variables. The big idea takeaway that I have is the ability to have the learning, the learner is the center, which we all try to do, but have the learning process itself, and to give up control and let the students learn and evaluate. I just wanted to thank everybody in the class for all the help and guidance that you've given me, the great ideas moving forward, and in general, thanks for the purposeful direction of the course itself. It's been very beneficial to me. Thank you and good luck.